Up until now, only heterosexual couples had the right to medically assisted production methods. People in France who oppose the bill are expected to take to the streets in protest next weekend. For more on this story, we can bring in Dr. Jean-Jacques Zambrowski, a public health professor. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. What do you think of this ruling?
Well, I believe that apart from a couple of people who are opponents on the right-hand side, probably due to religious considerations, which they might have, of course, it's democracy, the vast majority of people, like some pool opinion shown, say that these new bioethics law are something which goes together with the society now. The law is not only about the medically assisted reproduction, but also organ donation, prenatal diagnosis, biomedical research, and of course the legislative framework we used to have is no longer appropriate to the research, like the research on human embryos, which will still be prohibited, except from special cases when special permission might be granted. So, globally speaking, people, apart again from a certain minority of the population, is approving that, as well as the medical community and all the ethical committees that have been consulted, of course. We needed to have a new kind of regulation. Now, of course, the question of lesbians having children together and, for example, male homosexual not having this possibility brings a kind of unfairness. It's not totally equivalent to a situation of males and females. But apart from that, globally speaking, people seem to approve that. And the hearings at the Parliament, at the National Assembly, the representatives, which are more important than the senators in this country, have shown clearly that on both sides of the Parliament, the right and the left, and even in the nowhere or here and there, like the Macron majority party, it seems that most of the people would approve that, and the representative as well. So actually, there is very little doubt that this law will be voted finally.
Now, what exactly will this ruling change for women?
It will change that two women of the same gender, the same sex, will be permitted to have a child. Until now, they were only permitted to adopt a child. Nowadays, they can ask for medically assisted reproduction or procreation, which means that one of the women will be the biological mother, and of course, she will need to be implemented with the sperm of a given man or an anonymous donor, and the child will be the child of his both mothers, which of course until now was not possible.
Okay, so they have recognition, the child will have recognition that both mothers are his or her parents. But I want to ask you, what were lesbians or single women doing in France up until now, before this new ruling?
They were going abroad. They were going in, or they were doing things illegally, or they were just going abroad and ask for someone else to sell them an embryo, or to make artificial fecundation elsewhere. All around us, in some countries, it's permitted, or they were buying a child from somewhere, which, again, it's better to have a law, although the law is never perfect, than a non-legal situation. And the question is, the right of the child must always prevail to the right of having a child.
Indeed.
The children's rights are the most important. So these children are now acknowledged to have parents, to be legally the son of somebody. And if it happens that these somebody are two women, that's how it will be. This is what we can see. It's not millions. I mean, it will not really change the demographics. It is just making the people do what they want, and that children have two parents, which for the moment was not really the case.
Okay, Dr. Jean-Jacques Zambrowski, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.